Afghanistan has been in one war or another for the past 38 years. The decades-long conflict is fueled by an ever-increasing cast of local and global characters. The Soviet Union, the United States, Pakistan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia have all left their mark on Afghanistan. So, how did it all begin? During the Cold War in 1978, the Communist Party led a bloody coup against the nation's first president in the Saud Revolution.
It was not a coup, it was a revolution.
Once in power, the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan ran the country with an iron fist. There were curfews, travel bans, mass incarcerations, and repression of dissent. Nearly all levels of society, from academics and politicians to doctors and farmers, joined the resistance against the successive communist governments. By 1979, the Soviet Union stepped in to support the communist government, which was also struggling with internal rifts.
We are grateful to the Soviet Union that they responded positively to our request.
This caught the attention of the West. The United States, with the help of Pakistan and several Arab states, began a covert operation to train and arm the resistance forces, the Mujahideen. Many of these Mujahideen were ordinary Afghan men defending their nation from a foreign invasion. Foreign fighters also came to take up arms against the Soviets. They wanted to end the occupation and bring down the brutal communist government. Some of these Mujahideen would go on to become the country's most notorious warlords. By 1988, the war started to turn in the Mujahideen's favor, due in large part to the arms and training provided by the US and its allies. The Soviet forces began their withdrawal in May that year. The withdrawal was completed in 1989. Shortly after the Soviet withdrawal, the US abandoned Afghanistan and left the men who would become warlords to their own devices. The final communist president of Afghanistan, Najibullah Ahmadzai, tried to make peace with the Mujahideen, but failed. He warned the people that without a peace and an Afghan-led consensus, Afghanistan would become a pawn in global power games. In a letter to a Mujahideen leader, Ahmadzai predicted a grim future for the country.
اگر شوروی‌ها برآمدن و جایش دیگرها گرفتن، اگر در اینجا باز مشاور آمریکایی آمد، اگر در اینجا باز وهابی‌های عربی آمد، اگر در اینجا باز جنرال‌های یا میجرهای پاکستانی آمد.
But by then it was too late. His reputation had been damaged by his time as the head of communist intelligence. He was accused of overseeing torture and abuse. The warlord commanders launched hundreds of thousands of rockets and divided the city along geographic and ethnic lines. The forces under the control of these warlord commanders were accused of land grabbing and brutal crimes, rape, torture, massacres. In 1996, the Taliban arrived in Kabul to liberate the people from the warlords, the same warlords who had been funded by the US. They hanged Najibullah and his brother in a Kabul square. During the 5-year rule of the oppressive Taliban regime, the West continued to largely ignore Afghanistan, until Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda carried out the 9/11 attacks and George W. Bush invaded. To destroy Al-Qaeda, the US and its allies enlisted the help of the very warlords who wrought havoc over Kabul during the Civil War. Those warlords now hold some of the most powerful positions in the country. So, where does all this leave Afghanistan now? I'll let Tom Hanks explain that one.
Nobody gives a shit about a school in Pakistan.
Afghanistan.